It seems WWE may have heard our concerns regarding Clash in Paris because the show delivered way more than I expected it to be. Yes, there were a couple of moments that were on the lower side and somewhat underwhelming. However, as a whole, the PLE absolutely delivered for the last one we'll ever see on Peacock. At least for the main roster. As we recap the match card, make sure you let me know down below in the comments what was your favorite match of the night and what match do you think was the most slept on going into this PLE. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my channel also so you can get more of the WWE content I produce. Before we get into the actual match card though, can we talk about the set design of Clash in Paris? It was absolutely stunning. The Eiffel Tower was such a nice touch. And then there were the colors of the French flag within the crowd. I just thought the setup was absolutely stunning. Loved it the entire show. I kept going, oh my God, this is beautiful. I hope we get to focus more on stage designs in the future. I've always loved the more elaborate stage designs, which is why I get so excited for WrestleMania. So I'm hoping that we continue that, especially with WrestlePalooza coming up. It's right there, and based on the match graphic and its history, we have a lot of opportunity for something fun on that stage, but we'll just have to see. But y'all aren't here to hear me talk about the stage. You're here for the matches. Clash in Paris started off with the tribal thief Bronson Reed facing off against the OTC Roman Reigns. First and foremost, we have to talk about Roman's entrance because Roman was wearing a black and a red ulafala. Cole did mention that the tribal chief within their culture does not usually ever wear two ulafalas. Roman's, however, had a special significance. He wore an ulafala each to represent his father and his uncle, Alpha and Sika, who sadly passed away last year. For me, that was such a beautiful moment, and it really had me stuck for just a moment. But the match absolutely took all of my attention away. Because I have to mention that Bronson Reed looked phenomenal the entire time. He looked strong. He looked dominant. He looked like he was not someone to play with. He looked like someone that it would be hard to take down. And trust me, Roman tried. He tried to lift this man up in a Samoan drop, something he has done before. And his legs gave out. Throughout the entire match, Bronson really did not allow Roman to get any type of momentum, to get any type of power, to get any type of leg up over him. Every time Roman got going, Bronson had an answer. It's like that man studied every single match Roman Reigns has ever done. And so he knew what to look for in what moves Roman was going to pull out. Superman punch, caught in midair. Spear, caught in midair and turned into a power bomb. I truly have to give it to Bronson and Roman. They absolutely brought it and showed what an opening match should be. In the end though, Roman Reigns was able to pull off a win with a Samoan drop from the top rope, followed by a devastating spear. And 1, 2, 3, we have our winner. Now, here's the thing. Even I was sitting at home thinking, this can't be it. There has to be more coming, right? And unfortunately, I was right. First off, Roman gets back into the ring to confront his former wise man, Paul Heyman. When I tell y'all I was marking out and I was like, Roman, I need you to annihilate him, destroy. And he hit my favorite move. I love a guillotine. I don't know what it is about that submission, but I absolutely adore it. Especially because Roman's usually talking shit when he does it. Not as much this time, but he definitely put Mr. Heyman to sleep while grabbing the shoes that Bronson has stolen from him over the last few weeks. As he's signing them and doing his good deed by tossing them into the crowd, lucky fans, Braun Breaker appears out of nowhere and hits him with a spear that puts him through the announce desk. Okay. I'm all right. Y'all, remembering this, because if you watched, you know that one followed another spear from down the aisle, and then a tsunami in the ring, which then was followed by another tsunami while Roman was attached to a gurney, which followed by Jey Uso coming to the ring, attempting to save Roman. He caught a spear for his troubles, and then one final tsunami to leave Roman shaking in the ring. The man had to be stretchered out. Oh my God. Y'all, I can't. Look, don't we think that was a little too far? Don't we think we didn't need that much? It's okay. We all knew Roman would probably not be around for the next month, and this was a great way to write him off. While Roman did pick up the win, I do have to circle back and just remind you that Bronson Reed was the star of that match. One thing about it, Roman sells like no other, and he did exactly that for Bronson the entire match. Truthfully, this is going to be an unpopular opinion, but this is for sure one of my favorite matches of the night. I absolutely enjoyed the whole match, and as a matter of fact, as soon as I'm done recording this, I'm probably about to go rewatch it. The next match saw the Street Profits and the Wyatt Six fighting over the tag team titles. Number one, I am so glad to see the tag team titles being utilized on PLEs once again. And number two, a Street Profits match and a Wyatt Six match will never miss for me. While I love the Street Profits gear, it was the Wyatt Six entrance that stole it for me. As the Wyatts walked out to the ring, the Fireflies were out and they were singing the lyrics to the song, and all I could think about was Bray Wyatt. I'm sure this moment made Bo, or Uncle Howdy, whichever one you want to call him, extremely emotional, and I hope that it really sinks into him not only how much we love Bray, how much we appreciate him for carrying on Bray's legacies and his creativity. Again, we'll jump right back into the match because am I the only one that sees the Street Profits breakup coming? Because it's definitely coming. It is for sure coming. These two have not been on the same page since SummerSlam. When they lost that ladder match, it's like something within them broke. And they realized that this just might not be working out anymore. Montez and Dawkins were seen arguing at the start of the match, trying to decide which one would start. And Dawkins very strongly made sure it was aware that it would be him. Montez didn't like that and would end up tagging himself in quite stiffly right after that. Y'all, I'm excited. I love the Street Profits. I've always said I didn't necessarily think they needed to be split up to have singles careers. However, I make it no secret that I want Montez Ford as a single star. And I do not think that Dawkins would be left behind the way people think. Dawkins is a very great wrestler. He has it. I think Dawkins could be a very great heel just given the chance to try. So I'm kind of excited for this because this match did not end up with the Street Profits winning. Per usual, the Wyatt Six worked like they shared a brain. I mean, it was so methodical the way that they kept Montez away from Dawkins for a large majority of the match, making sure he was alone. And when Tez did get to tag out and it was Dawkins in the ring, Tez was nowhere to be found. So for the most part, this match was really a 2-on-1 versus a 2-on-2. You either had the Wyatts versus Montez or you had Dawkins versus the Wyatts. There was very little tag team work truly done by Montez and Dawkins in this match. And again, another sign that the end just might be near. But with the help of the rest of the Wyatt family, the Wyatt Six were able to pull off this win and retain their tag team championships. Abby the Witch ended up grabbing Dawkins, who wasn't able to stop himself from receiving a Sister Abigail, thrown right back into the ring. 1, 2, 3. This match I was a little iffy about because, again, I was so stuck on the Street Profits and the problems they have that I kind of found myself getting lost in my thoughts throughout the match. Just, well, what if we do this? Or what if this happens? So I'm very interested to see where the Street Profits go next. And who could possibly be up next to face the Wyatts? Because whoever it is, you're going to need an army. Nikki Bella and Becky Lynch faced off for the Women's Intercontinental Championship in Nikki's first title match since her return. Now, this match is getting a lot of hate. Unnecessarily, if you ask me, because this match was actually very good. While Nikki tried to start off strong, Becky kind of made her remember that this is no longer your house. This is no longer the ring you know. You're in my house now. But it didn't take Nikki long to fully get into the swing of things, and truthfully, it very much was reminding me of Diva era Nikki. Like, she was ready to go. She was not playing. There were a few mishaps in this match, but I don't think those are anything other than just bad timing, bad communication, both of them not truly paying attention as all the way. I loved Nikki hitting the manhandle slam on Becky and attempting to disarm her. I thought it was absolutely perfect, and it definitely got into Becky's head just a tiny bit because Becky ended up hitting her with what they're calling the Lynch pin now since she's using it so much, which is just the rolling backslide pin. And with another win, Becky does retain her title, but something told me This is not the last we see of Becky versus Nikki. Nikki is not going to give up that easily. And truthfully, I'm not ready to let that feud end. I don't mind another match or two, at least, for this title. So we can keep Nikki and Becky going. Maybe. We'll circle back to that later. In a good old-fashioned Donnybrook match, Sheamus and Rusev met and did exactly what I was hoping they would do by absolutely beating the hell out of each other the entire match. There is so much that went on in this match that it would take me forever to go step by step. What I can tell you is I did really enjoy the props being used as much as they were. I enjoyed both Rusev and Sheamus using the 10 beats of the battering drum on each other. And one thing that a lot of people may not have enjoyed that I did, I really enjoyed them constantly kicking out. Neither one of these men wanted to stay down. And in all honesty, that's kind of the theme for the rest of this card. Sheamus and Rusev were hitting each other with everything they had. They were throwing everything at each other, from shillelaghs to using the bar as a weapon to kendo sticks. There was nothing off limits in this match. Probably the highlight of this match came for me when Sheamus and Rusev ended up on top of whiskey barrels and Rusev hit the accolade on him where Sheamus couldn't tap out even if he wanted to because they were outside of the ring. While this match was a no disqualification and no countout match, any pinfall or submission had to take place inside of the ring. Now, Sheamus somehow was able to get out of that and hit a white noise on Rusev through the table, throw him back into the ring, hit a bro kick, and Rusev still tapped out. This is what I mean when I say people sleep on Rusev and Sheamus. These two work so well together anytime they meet in the ring that it just blows me away. This could have very well been a title match. That's how good it was for me. But with the shillelagh helping him in the accolade, Rusev is able to make Sheamus tap, which is not something many people can ever say they've done. I actually am interested to see where this story goes on because while Rusev has won, what's next for each one of them? Do they try to fight again? Do they move on? And which one of them is moving on towards the title picture? Because something tells me with that win, it's probably Rusev. And y'all know I really wanted to be Sheamus. John Cena and Logan Paul met up in a match that seemed to go on for hours. And I do not mean that in a negative way. This match showed me that WWE 100% sees Logan Paul as their next star, as their next face of the company. Because when I tell you I've never seen anyone outside of a Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, Undertaker, Randy Orton be able to stand the test of time with John Cena like that in a match. I mean, Cena was pulling out things like the Styles Clash to keep Logan down. And Logan kept getting out. Truthfully, I was a little shocked by how well Logan was working the ring tonight. And I don't really have an answer as to why. I've said it before, but regardless of my dislike for him, I try to just look at him from an unbiased point of view as much as I can. And these two were full on hooping in the ring. Like, again, another favorite match of mine from tonight because it just kept going and going. And at one point, I just was like, this match has to just end in a disqualification because there's no way either one of them is going to stand down. I was shocked that while Jelly Roll was ringside, there was no Jelly Roll, there was no Drew McIntyre, there was no Randy Orton involvement. I honestly expected that the second I saw Jelly because if you remember at the end of SummerSlam, they made it very clear to say Logan Paul and Drew McIntyre were one up on Jelly Roll and Randy Orton. So there has to be more coming. I guess the question is just when. Logan also showed us that he has definitely been training. I don't know with who, but that man was pulling out new moves left and fucking right. Again, enjoyed it 100%. I need John to realize that while he may feel differently, that man could still be on active roster if he really wanted to. The matches he's been putting on since he went back to being himself, actually since SummerSlam, he's been doing great. I am enjoying it. Again, we have, I think, 3 months and maybe 8 or 9 appearances left with John Cena. So I am trying to enjoy it as much as I can and trying to possibly figure out a way to see John Cena before he hangs it up for good. But in the end, John Cena was able to hit a double AA on Logan Paul and take the win, which puts him one match away from number 100 at PLEs. So I'm going to need him to win whatever match is next up for him. Really quick, I do find it quite interesting that John Cena wants to make it very clear anytime he gets the chance to, that he's not picking his opponents. That it's basically just a John Cena open challenge, and whoever comes up next comes up next. So, considering all the controversy from earlier this month, that was just quite interesting. In our main event, Seth Rollins defended his World Heavyweight Championship in a fatal 4-way against Jey Uso, CM Punk, and LA Knight. Jey Uso probably has to have the entrance of the night, hands down, because the crowd was shaking. They love to yeet. The people love yeeting. If you don't like it, you're just going to have to accept it at some point. Now, because of their attack on Roman Reigns and the Spirit to Jey Uso, Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed were banned from ringside. Actually, they were ejected from the entire arena for the night. So we all were probably on the edge of our seat because we knew Seth had a plan B. Now, a few weeks back, Seth said that his plan B, he had to catch a flight to. And so there were all types of names being thrown around. Tony D'Angelo, Ethan Page, Austin Theory. I even saw people saying it could be one of these Street Profits. And it was none of them. Now, here's the thing with Fatal 4-Ways. There's always so much going on that I can't keep up. And I just feel so lost halfway through the match. Like, I'm like, what? Who did what and where? One of my favorite pieces was seeing Seth get continuously jumped by either just 2 or all 3 of the other members of the match. They were very against Seth the entire time. Now, I do have one bone to pick with Mr. Jey Uso. If you all had agreed to get the tables and take Seth and put him through a table so it could just be the 3 of you fighting, why didn't you let Seth get through the table first before super kicking CM Punk? I think we should have let that table get hit first, because then it would have been, better. But that's just my take. I could be wrong. I think we were just a little too fast on the getting back at everybody. We could have waited a bit, and then it would have opened the door for Jey Uso to regain that World Heavyweight Championship that he so badly wants. There was a brief moment where I really thought LA Knight might pull it off, as he was annihilating both Jey Uso and Seth Rollins and beating their heads into an announce desk. But he messed up because he took a second too long and Seth was able to roll out of the way when he jumped off the top of an announce desk. The ending of this match is what makes it all worth it. Just as CM Punk is about to hit a second go to sleep on Seth Rollins, just as CM Punk can see that goal coming back home with him again, he gets low blowed by the newest member of the Vision. And spoiler alert, it's none of the people we thought it was. It is Women's Intercontinental Champion Becky Lynch. So we are getting the heel couple of Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch tomorrow on Raw. And honestly, I'm kind of excited. They work well together. Becky mentions her hot husband all the time, so you might as well put her with her hot husband. The downside is, where does this story go next? Because of course, with them attacking CM Punk, the main person everyone is waiting to see, the main theme everyone is waiting to hear is Light It Up, meaning AJ Lee has returned. Is AJ Lee returning to WWE? It makes it very hard to think she isn't, because CM Punk made sure to grab a CM Punk bring back AJ Lee sign. Big E made sure to mention it on the post show that, hey, while Seth does have Becky, Punk has AJ Lee. He can bring back AJ Lee to help him. I don't know if that's going to happen. And I hate saying that because I don't. If AJ Lee returns, I will mark out just as much as everyone else. Truly. AJ Lee has always said that if she were to return to the ring, she doesn't want it to be a one-off. It has to be for a good reason. And to fight with your husband against the new power couple of WWE and possibly getting a women's intercontinental title seems like a good enough reason to me. However, I think it is way more likely that Nikki Bella or Bayley will be the one to join CM Punk in his efforts against Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. In all honesty, my prediction for WrestlePalooza will be Seth Rollins and Becky versus CM Punk and Nikki, or CM Punk and Bayley. I'm leaning more towards Nikki because I feel like Nikki's business with Becky is not done. And while they tend to bring up Nikki's ex a lot, it just makes sense that since neither one of them has a partner that is currently within the company, that they can team up to face this power couple. We just will have to see. But with Becky Lynch's help, Seth Rollins did in fact retain his World Heavyweight Championship, and the era of the Lopez's has begun. And that was Clash in Paris. So let me know, how are you feeling? Did you enjoy the show? And is there any ending you would have changed? How do you feel about Becky Lynch being the newest member of the Vision? And what are the chances of AJ Lee actually returning to WWE to help her husband? If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and turn on your post notifications so that you're notified every time I post. I do have quite a few videos in the back of my mind, so don't be surprised if you're getting quite a few notifications this week. So, until the last bell rings, bye guys.